You think indecision is weakness. It is not. It is intelligence turned against itself. A Roman emperor ruled for 23 years, commanded legions, controlled an empire, and he could not make a single decision. His name was Tiberius, and he did not fail because he lacked power. He failed because he had too many options. You know this feeling. You stand in front of Netflix for an hour, scrolling, searching, unable to choose. You stare at a restaurant menu until the waiter gives up on you. You browse online stores, add items to cart, never check out. This is not laziness. This is not stupidity. This is decision paralysis. And it is destroying you. Psychologists call it analysis paralysis, the paradox of choice, the tyranny of options. But 2,000 years ago, Rome called it something else. The curse of absolute power. Because when you can have anything, you cannot choose anything. Tiberius understood this. He ruled the most powerful empire on earth. And it broke him, not through war, not through betrayal, through the simple, unbearable weight of having to decide. So he did what you do when Netflix overwhelms you. He left, abandoned Rome, fled to an island, Capri, and from there, he ruled an empire by refusing to rule at all. No decisions, no choices, no responsibility, just endless, paralyzing silence. Modern psychology confirms what Tiberius learned the hard way. Choice is not freedom. Choice is cognitive warfare. And most people lose. Your brain was not designed for infinite choice. For 200,000 years, humans lived in small groups. Limited resources. Limited options. You did not choose your food. You ate what you found. You did not choose your mate. You partnered with who was available. You did not choose your job. You survived. Decision-making was simple. Binary. Live or die. But modern life? You are drowning in options. 40,000 items in an average supermarket. 18,000 new movies released every year. Infinite career paths. Unlimited dating profiles. Your brain still operates on tribal logic. Process a few options. Pick one. Move on. But now, you are forced to process thousands. And your brain cannot handle it. Psychologist Barry Schwartz proved this in 2004. The paradox of choice. He showed that more options do not increase satisfaction. They increase regret. Because every choice means rejecting alternatives. And your brain obsesses over what you did not choose. You pick a movie, spend the entire time wondering if the other one was better. You order food, regret it the moment someone else's plate arrives. You accept a job, spend years wondering about the path not taken. This is called opportunity cost anxiety. And it is paralyzing. Because the more options you have, the more you lose by choosing. Neuroscience reveals the mechanism. Decision-making activates the prefrontal cortex, the executive function center. Every choice requires energy, glucose, mental effort. Small decisions? Manageable. But modern life forces you to make thousands of micro-decisions daily. What to wear, what to eat, which email to answer first, which route to drive, which app to open. Each one depletes your mental reserves. Researchers call this decision fatigue. The more choices you make, the worse your decisions become. Studies show judges grant parole more often in the morning. Why? Because by afternoon, their decision-making capacity is exhausted. They default to the safest option. Deny. You do the same thing. By evening, you cannot choose dinner. So you order the same thing you always do. Not because you want it, because deciding is too hard. Tiberius faced this on an imperial scale. Every decision had consequences. Promote the wrong general, civil war, tax the wrong province, rebellion, trust the wrong advisor, assassination. So he stopped deciding. He delegated. He delayed. He disappeared. And Rome? It ran itself. Bureaucrats made decisions. Senators filled the void. Tiberius was emperor in name only. But here is the paradox. By refusing to choose, he made the worst choice of all. Because indecision is not neutral. It is a decision to let circumstances decide for you. And circumstances do not care about your happiness. Modern psychology recognizes this pattern. Avoidance coping. When faced with overwhelming options, people freeze, postpone, procrastinate. Not because they are lazy, because their brain is protecting them from the pain of choosing wrong. But avoidance creates its own suffering. The job you did not apply for, the relationship you did not pursue, the opportunity you let pass. Indecision does not save you from regret. It guarantees it, because at least wrong decisions teach you something. Indecision teaches you nothing, except that you are afraid. Tiberius knew this. On Capri, he was safe from decision fatigue. But he was also isolated, paranoid, hated. He avoided the pain of choosing, and created a worse pain, the emptiness of never choosing at all. Imagine the moment. 26 CE. Rome, the center of the world. Tiberius sits in the Senate, surrounded by advisors, generals, senators. They are waiting for him to decide. Should Rome invade Germania? Should they increase taxes? Should they execute the conspirators? And Tiberius? He says nothing. Not because he does not know the answer, because he knows too many answers. Invade Germania? Could expand the empire, or drain resources and trigger revolt. Increase taxes? It funds the military, or sparks rebellion in the provinces. Execute conspirators? It shows strength, or creates martyrs and more enemies. Every option is right. Every option is wrong. And Tiberius, the most powerful man on earth, is paralyzed. He does what you do when Netflix overwhelms you. He leaves the room. Except Tiberius does not just leave the room. He leaves Rome. He boards a ship, sails to Capri, a small island off the coast, and he never returns. For the next 11 years, Tiberius rules Rome from a villa on a rock. He does not attend Senate meetings. He does not make public appearances. He does not issue decrees. He writes letters. Vague, non-committal. Consider this. Evaluate that. Decide among yourselves. Rome is confused. Is the emperor abdicating? Is this a test? A strategy? No. It is decision paralysis on a historical scale. Tiberius had infinite power. And infinite power means infinite responsibility. Every choice affects millions. Every mistake is catastrophic. So he chose not to choose. Historians call Tiberius a recluse, paranoid tyrant, a failure, but read his letters, his private writings. He was not paranoid. He was exhausted. Every man who comes to me wants something, he wrote, and I must decide who deserves it. And I am always wrong. This is the voice of decision fatigue. Not weakness, not madness, burnout. Tiberius was doing what modern psychologists recommend, removing himself from the decision-making environment. But he took it too far, because isolation does not eliminate decisions. It just changes them. On Capri, Tiberius still had to decide what to eat, who to trust, how to spend his time. But now, his decisions had no purpose, no empire to serve, no legacy to build, just survival and boredom. The Roman Senate, meanwhile, adapted. They stopped waiting for Tiberius. They made decisions themselves. And Rome functioned fine, better even, because a system designed to require one man's approval was a fragile system. Once Tiberius removed himself, the system evolved. Senators took initiative. Generals acted independently. Governors solved problems locally. Tiberius thought he was irreplaceable. He was not. And this, perhaps, was his greatest fear, that if he stopped deciding, the empire would collapse. Instead, it thrived. This is the paradox leaders face. The paradox you face. You think your decisions matter more than they do. You agonize over choices because you believe the wrong one will destroy everything. But most decisions are reversible. Most mistakes are fixable. And most of the time, not deciding is worse than deciding wrong. Tiberius learned this too late. He died on Capri in 37 CE. Isolated. Forgotten. Hated. Rome mourned for a day. Then moved on. Because empires, like lives, do not wait for perfect decisions. They move forward. With or without you. So why can you not choose a Netflix show? Because your brain treats it like Tiberius treated Germania. High stakes. Permanent consequences. No room for error. But here is the truth. Most decisions do not matter. Psychologists divide decisions into two categories. Reversible and irreversible. Reversible, what to watch, what to eat, which route to take. Irreversible, who to marry, which career to choose, whether to have children. Your brain should treat these differently, but it does not. Because modern culture has trained you to believe every choice defines you. Pick the wrong show? You wasted 2 hours. Order the wrong meal? You ruined dinner. Choose the wrong career? You failed at life. This is catastrophic thinking. And it is everywhere. Social media amplifies it. Every choice is public. Permanent. Judged. You post the wrong photo? People will remember. You share the wrong opinion? You are cancelled. You make the wrong career move? LinkedIn immortalizes your failure. So you freeze. Like Tiberius. Not because you lack options. Because every option feels like a test. And you are terrified of failing. Neuroscience explains this. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, activates during decision-making. It scans for threats, for potential losses. And in a world of infinite choice, every option is a potential loss. Choose this, you lose that. This is called loss aversion. The pain of losing something is twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining it. So your brain defaults to avoidance. Do not choose. Do not lose. But avoidance creates a different loss. The loss of time, of opportunity, of life. Tiberius lost 11 years on Capri. What did he gain? Safety, silence, stagnation. You lose hours on Netflix. What do you gain? The illusion that the perfect choice exists. It does not. Psychologist Herbert Simon introduced the concept of satisficing. A combination of satisfy plus suffice. The idea: do not search for the perfect option. Search for a good enough option. Because perfect is the enemy of done. And done is the enemy of paralysis. Studies prove this. People who satisfice, who pick the first acceptable option, are happier than people who maximize, who search for the best option. Why? Because maximizers always wonder if they missed something better. Satisficers accept good enough and move on. Tiberius was a maximizer. Every decision had to be perfect, so he made none, and his empire suffered. Not because his decisions were wrong, because he refused to make them. Modern life demands satisficing. You cannot research every choice. You cannot optimize every decision. You have to pick, move forward, adjust if needed. But your brain resists this, because adjusting feels like admitting failure. And failure, in a world that worships success, feels like death. So you stay stuck, scrolling, searching, suffering. Not because you cannot decide, because you are afraid of what deciding means. It means commitment, responsibility, the risk of being wrong. And in a culture that punishes mistakes, wrong feels unbearable. But here is what Tiberius taught us. Avoiding decisions does not avoid consequences. It just hands control to someone else. On Capri, Tiberius thought he was free. But he was not. He was imprisoned by his own refusal to act. And when you spend an hour choosing a show, you are not being careful. You are being controlled. By algorithms. By options. By the fear of wasting time. But the irony? Deciding is instant. Indecision is endless. So what do we learn from Tiberius? That power without decision is not power. It is paralysis. That choice without commitment is not freedom. It is torture. Tiberius had everything, and he chose nothing. You have infinite options, and you choose nothing. The pattern is the same. The pain is the same. Because the problem is not the options. It is the belief that the right option exists. It does not. Every choice has trade-offs. Every decision has regrets. The question is not, what is the perfect choice? The question is, what is good enough to move forward? Philosophers have debated this for centuries. Aristotle said, the good life is found in action, not contemplation. Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Both point to the same truth. You cannot think your way out of indecision. You have to act. And action requires accepting imperfection. Tiberius could not accept this. He needed certainty, control, perfection. So he fled to an island, where the only thing he controlled was his isolation. And what did that give him? Safety? Yes. Happiness? No. Purpose? Never. Modern psychology calls this the tyranny of choice. But it is not choice that tyrannizes. It is the refusal to choose. Because when you refuse to decide, you let circumstances decide for you. And circumstances do not care about your dreams, your goals, your happiness. They just move forward. Without you, Netflix will keep adding shows. Restaurants will keep expanding menus. Life will keep offering options. And you will keep scrolling, keep searching, keep suffering. Unless you accept one simple truth. There is no perfect choice. There is only the choice you make, and what you do with it after. Tiberius made the wrong choice. Isolation. But at least he chose. And Rome? It moved on. Because the world does not wait for perfect decisions. It waits for decisions. Any decisions. Right or wrong. Good or bad. Forward or backward. Just decide. And if you choose wrong, adjust. That is not failure. That is learning. Tiberius never learned this. He died believing his indecision protected him. But it did not protect him. It erased him. History remembers him not for what he did, but for what he refused to do. Do not let that be your story. So here is the question Tiberius never answered. What if the wrong choice is better than no choice? What if wasting 2 hours on a bad movie teaches you what you do not like? What if ordering the wrong meal makes the next choice easier? What if choosing imperfectly is the only way to learn to choose at all? Tiberius spent 11 years avoiding decisions. And in those 11 years, he lost everything that mattered. Connection, purpose, legacy. You spend hours avoiding decisions. And in those hours, you lose the same things. Time, momentum, life. The Romans had a phrase, dum deliberamus, vita paret. While we deliberate, life passes. Tiberius deliberated, and life passed. You deliberate, and life passes. The only difference? You still have time to stop. Tiberius did not choose, and history forgot him. What will history say about you? That you scrolled? That you searched? That you suffered in silence? Or that you chose? Imperfectly, bravely, and moved forward anyway. The choice, as always, is yours. If you can make it,